Okay, last time I talked about Sarisu continent, the very cold boy. Today I'm going to be introducing the MORS continent, spelled MORS with only one O. My original intention for MORS continent was to make it an extremely dead place, hence the name MORS, which is the Latin root for death. However, there's already a dead continent, which is, well, heaven continent, which I'm going to get into next episode. So I changed the ideas and concepts. If you flatten out the map, MORS continent lies somewhere in the middle of the Vixie. Bagarik is in the west, Heaven in the east, and Sarisu to the north. So MORS is just kinda chilling between. It's the smallest continent, having total landmass of 32 million square kilometers. For your reference, that's slightly larger than Asia. So compared to Earth, that's still pretty damn big. It's humid most of the year and would rain every 8 or so days in the form of rainstorms. Although uncomfortable, MORS continent definitely meets survivability standards. Since it's located on the equator, there's a thin strip of desert separating northern and southern MORS. Outside the desert, there's another thin strip of steppe, then several grasslands and another arid steppe under mountain ranges. On the other side of the mountain ranges, there's lush tropical forests with the heat just enough to make tropical life flourish. So why give it the name MORS? The interesting approach would have to do with the history of the Vixie's natives and human colonization. I'm going to talk about those two in a later episode, so I'll only disclose the bare essentials right now. Basically, the Vixie's natives, the Vixians, they have many different races. A lot more than human races, with each race having unique abilities and attributes. One such race has evolved purely to be a biological weapon against a predatory species, with their blood being highly toxic to nearly all life on the Vixie, sort of like peppers. So they're basically like purposed organisms. After humans came, some things, a lot of things happened, and a lot of that special Diviction blood got spilled into MORS continent's major waterways and irrigation canals. And by a lot, I mean a lot. Eventually, most of the soil of mainland MORS got heavily carbonated, acidifying them and killing anything that grows there. This either killed or petrified the vegetation, which in turn led to disaster-level extinction events. Giant land mammal species that used to thrive were completely wiped out. Only a few species of insects remained, thus giving credit to MORS's deathly name. Due to this, MORS continent's only way to grow crops on their own is by using imported soil from other continents, mainly Sarisu's mountainous soil, so that creates the demand chain. Anyways, commerce and economy between human settlements would be discussed in another time. For now, let's look at the human settlements in MORS. There's one settlement on MORS continent. Apart from that, there is another settlement set up on an island near MORS that is under MORS's government's jurisdiction. The island settlement is called HRF, which is short for Hexagonal Research Facilities. Essentially, the settlement is a chain of facilities set up along the island. These chains converge at a single point, with the main research foundation built atop a large isle between two dead rivers. These facilities are military innovation and production centers, which means they produce firearms and war machines and such. The bulk of their population of 700,000 is made up of scientists and guards, with the exception of occasional trader groups and construction workers. Their main purpose is to supply heavy artillery to Bagarik continent, but since they are also under the jurisdiction of mainland MORS, it's quite a political hazard. I'll get into that in a later episode. The settlement in mainland MORS is called Geras, the Holy Capital. It is built beneath the giant fossilized remains of a sea animal, which serves as natural protection. It has a population of around 40 million. For your information, that's a bit more than Afghanistan's population. It uses a special supply governing system, which is a weird form of socialism that separates society into two groups, the government and the governed, and abolishes all other hierarchies. Jervis's economy comes from trading fossils and lucere, which is a highly valued drug and one of the main pushing factors of the story. I will explain those two in a later episode. Anyways, that sums up most of the basics of MORS continent. I will be going over MORS continent's government, commerce, and culture in future episodes. Next episode, I'll be introducing the Heaven continent. Peace.